Hello, BookDevs Nation. How are you guys doing today? So, wanted to go ahead and start doing some IG lives, start answering your guys' questions. And if not, we also got some books that I'll be talking about just to share with you guys. Hello, hello. Please let me know your name. Um, and I guess also wherever you are calling from. Would love to know where you guys are from. But yeah, just gonna be taking the time to answer you guys' questions. Also, maybe if you don't have a question, there's just something you want to share in 60 seconds or less of something you've learned this past week or something you're excited to learn or do in this future week. Please feel free to share. But again, just want to take the time, talk about any questions you guys may have, share some ideas, talk about some books and concepts and whatnot. But so this last I think 2 or 3 weeks, I've been reading Life Unknown by Kartikeya Latta, A Passage Through India. It's actually, I love the cover. Like I thought the cover was very nice and colorful and whatnot. Like just very nice cover art. I love a book with good cover art, and then it's a great story too. It's very interesting. It's definitely a bit different than what I would normally read, like, but it's nice. Like it's not just like a self-help book. It's like a nice story about just his journey through India and his struggles throughout. Um, and then just finished up, or I technically have like 10 or 20 pages, but I'm finishing up Atomic Habits. This is supposed to be Atomic Habits, but fun fact, I don't like reading hardcover books with the sleeve, so I take the sleeve off because, if you ever read a hardcover book with like, ugh, with the sleeve, it just slides off, and it's kind of annoying if I'm to be completely honest. So it just slides down. Hello, hello. Let's see. Please let me know your name and where you are tuning in from. Would appreciate it. Love to see where you guys are calling from. Hello, Yoga Prakoso, Michael Yeager, Aviral Joshi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Which book or novel are you reading recently? Hope you are fine there. Thank you. I hope you're doing fine as well. Aviral. Sorry. Yeah, so this week just finished up reading Atomic Habits, or I have like 10 pages, I think, left on Atomic Habits. And then really been focusing on Life Unknown, as it's like 400 pages. So it's a bit more than what I'm accustomed to reading, I guess. Most books I've read are like 2 to 250. So this one I'm trying to get through, and it's actually been a really great book. Like it's a very interesting dive into Kartikeya and his journey of throughout India and sort of the internal struggles I think we all sort of face as humans. So it's been really good, and actually going to be having him on our podcast Monday or tomorrow morning, yeah, Monday morning, to just sort of talk about a little bit about his story. And I kind of want to dive into talk about a little bit about vulnerability and struggles he's had to face and whatnot, struggles I've had to face, and we've all really had to face as humans, right? Um, let's see. Just going through, making sure I don't miss you guys' questions. Well, I hope you guys have had a great week. What's my favorite genre? Intelligent Zombie asks. Let's see. My favorite genre, I honestly actually don't really have necessarily a favorite overall genre, just because there's so much like I want to learn. I know that might sound like a cop out or like, oh, you don't want to answer the question, but it's more of like I'm a very curious person, and so it's like for me to pick one genre. Like, actually, I'm not the biggest fan of just reading self-help books. Like, I'm a big fan of reading different stories. Like Life Unknown is technically not really a self-help book, because it's a story about his travels through India. That's why it's a passage through India, and you learn a lot about his sort of trials and tribulations of going through India, meeting new people, sort of the judgment he's had to face with his family. Whereas because Kartikeya lived in America, was an engineer, had a great job, and then decided to give it all away to go ahead and just travel through India, I guess for no reason. So, well, no reason, quote unquote, but he's trying to sort of find his answers to life and things like that. So you would never get that from like a self help book where like Atomic Habits. I mean, I enjoyed the book, but it's like Atomic Habits is a much more technical book of like, hey, do this and this and this and this, you know. So I guess my favorite genre depends on what mood I'm feeling in the moment. So I guess right now, let me think. Then I guess for right now in this moment, my favorite genre. I don't even know what you would call Kartikeya's genre. What is it, like history or technically biography? But I've actually really enjoyed Life Unknown. It's been a great read. I know it's a bit thicker than most books, you know, but still overall a great book if you're into reading books and want something maybe a little different from your regular self-help book. And definitely check this one out just because it's a good story. If you want to learn about India or maybe you're from India and would like to kind of learn about more parts of India, a great book. It's definitely my first book about like India and whatnot. I mean, I grabbed this one from thrift shop. Want to go ahead and read that one about Gandhi. I mean, kind of, I know who he is, but I haven't learned much about him. So, you know, I want to learn more, right? And that's part of why I don't just pick one genre of like self-help or anything like that. Like I pick a lot of different books. 'Cause I know there's a lot I have yet to learn and will probably never know. So it's like continue exploring and whatnot. So I'm actually a big advocate for learning as many genres as you can and just getting into books, and maybe find some that you don't like necessarily like as much. Like I guess I'm not the biggest fan of as many fiction books, so I am a little more selective with fiction books. But even then, there are some fiction books that I've enjoyed, you know. So it just honestly depends. Hello from Flores, get NB. Flores, where is Flores? Is that like what is that? Flores? I'm thinking is that Italy? I'm not sure. Let me know where Flores is from. I would appreciate that. Um, but welcome. Hello from Indonesia. Hello, hello. Any book on how to stop being a pushover? Let me think about that one. Actually, I think a good one. Let me see if I can find it. A good one for to stop being a pushover. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's even like necessarily you need a book for that, but I will go ahead and recommend one. Where is it? I actually really like the 10x rule. I thought it was a good, nice confidence booster of just going out and just sort of getting the things that you want to get done. And making them 10x and 10xing, as he says, the rule of 10x, making them 10 times bigger, right? And sort of give you that confidence boost of just going after your dreams, your goals, and whatnot. But to stop being a pushover, to be honest, it's like, I think you kind of have to do some sort of internal searching of like, well, hey, why am I such a pushover, right? And then maybe find a balance, because I know I've met a couple friends and close people. It's like sometimes I know they used to be pushovers, so I would tell them, like, hey, like it's okay to be selfless, right? Like I think it's good, but then also find that balance of you also need to take care of yourself. And it's actually a concept I've honestly thought about a lot. It might sound a little weird, but I'm going to share it. Like there's a difference I personally think between being selfish and versus being egotistical. So I think a lot of people think when we're helping, we have to always help others, or else we're being selfish, and being selfish is bad. I actually think being selfish is a good thing, whereas being egotistical is bad. If Because everything in a sense comes from self, comes from being selfish. Right? Why do you want to help other people? Because you want to make yourself feel good, things like that, right? So I mean that's technically selfish, right? So it's like find that right balance for you of helping other people, but also being assertive in what it is that you want to do. And maybe a way to help you from being a pushover, have clarity in what it is you want to accomplish and the goals you want to go ahead and achieve. That way, you have clarity in your life. Like, okay, there's like this overarching goal that you can make progress towards every single day. So I would say get clear on your goals. Maybe even ask yourself, why do you think you are a pushover? And try and be a little more assertive and just like taking care of yourself as well. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. Just don't be egotistical about yourself, if that makes sense. I really think being selfish has been like a big word that a lot of society has kind of put down, if you will. But it's like, in a sense, we all need to be selfish. Like, we all need to eat. We all need shelter. We all need, to continuously, I don't know, grow and whatnot. So it's like, in a sense, you sort of have to be selfish, right? Just don't be like have good intentions is what I mean by with like good intentions. Make sure you're not coming from a place of like hate or any of those egotistical ways, like I don't know, greed, things like that. Hello, welcome. I will be answering your guys' questions for any of you guys just joining, as well as please feel free to share with me whatever you guys are currently learning. Would love to hear from you guys, where you guys are from, your name, where you guys are from, maybe something you have just recently learned throughout the last week, something you are excited to either learn or do in the future week, or just ask me a question you guys have today. Let's see. Hello. Going through. I request a quick review on Atomic Habits. Intelligent Zombie asks, yeah. So, Atomic Habits. So this is Atomic Habits. I take the dust covers off, or whatever they're called, the sleeves. I take them off personally because I don't like them. They make the book slide down. So, a quick review on Atomic Habits. Pretty much, you want to read this book if you're trying to figure out, if you're struggling perhaps with implementing a habit or habits in general. A good book to go ahead and check out. It breaks it down. It's like one of those books where it's like, well, no, duh, obviously. But I think it's one of those, you have to read it and have it be told to you by someone else for it to maybe perhaps click in your head finally. Like, that's how I felt like with this book. Like, it wasn't like mind-blowing information. It was actually a lot of like obvious things. Like, for example, how to make a habit easier. Well, is by setting it up so it's easier. So, like, for example, one thing I've tried to implement, and I try to share with you guys on the Instagram stories, is waking up early. So waking up before 5 is really my overall goal. So how do I make it a little easier? Well, I like being able to like chug water in the morning, just because I feel a little more refreshed and awake. So what I do now, I go ahead and leave a plastic bottle or a water bottle, whatever, next to my alarm. That way, when I turn my alarm off, I can also go ahead and just chug some water and feel refreshed. And again, it makes it a little easier to get out of bed in the morning because I've set that up. So it talks a lot about those different sorts of concepts of either making things easier, or if it's a bad habit, go ahead and make it as hard as possible. That's what she said. But go ahead and make it as like hard as humanly possible. That way you practically never have to do it ever again. And I mean, I would say that's like the quick rundown of Atomic Habits. And then they go into different concepts, some advanced topics, like the 2-minute rule, things like that. Even if you're doing a habit that you think takes an hour, just do it for 2 minutes. Because usually, if you're able to take out 2 minutes of your day, you might be more likely to go ahead and maybe implement a little longer. But when you're starting off, just do 2 minutes. Because it's not about necessarily hitting the goal. It's about being consistent with the goal, with the progress. But yeah, a quick little review on Atomic Habits. I hope that helped. Hello. See, how many pages do I read a day? Do I set a target? Not really, to be honest. I actually try to do more time, just because with some books, I'm going to be a slower reader than other books. So, like, I think I've found with Atomic Habits, I can read through a lot quicker. Whereas Life Unknown, I take my time with it just because it's, again, not such a self-help book. It's more about his journey through India. Plus, I've never been to India. I'm not from India, and so it's like a lot of the names and places and things like that are like completely new to me. So I think maybe that's why I take some of my time with it. And there's just some concepts that I've like never heard of that I'm like, oh, okay, I have to look this up or something like that. So plus it's like more of a story. It's not like a technical book. So it's more about his story through India. So I like to take my time with it and like better understand and paint the picture in my head of where he's at currently, Yeah, no problem, Avril. Let's see. Do you have any questions? How old was I? Alright, let's see. Yeah, how old are you when you start reading? Alright, how old was I when I started reading? It depends. So, let me think back to, I guess, earliest time I can remember myself reading. Damn. See, that's the funny thing. I remember myself by through grades, not through age, but maybe 8 or 9 years old. I know I was a lot into Harry Potter, and I've tried to go ahead and start my own collection of Harry Potter books. You guys can check that out. Right now, recently getting them through garage sales. You guys can check that out on YouTube. But I have number 6 and 7. But starting off, it was Harry Potter books from my family. Technically, my mom owns them, and she's the owner of the books. But she would let me go ahead and read them, and so I would go ahead and read those for quite a while. That was up to like third grade. So I don't know what age I was third grade, but that was from like first grade to about third or fourth grade. I was just trying to read Harry Potter books, and then a lot of Magic Treehouse books. So I think 8 or 9 years old. But then throughout school, I don't know. I'm sure this happens with most of you guys too. As I got older, books started sort of like going down in quality, just because they would force you. You had to like read a book that they assigned to you, even if it was a book that didn't, pique your interest. So I definitely stopped for some time. I think middle school and high school sort of killed it for me for a little bit. But luckily, I've gone back into just reading books that I can personally enjoy. But yeah, how old were you when you started reading? I would say about 8 years old, and then I don't know, around like 12, I took a hiatus, if you will, because of middle school and high school. They force you to read books, and they're kind of like, it's not the same. Whereas if you were to just go ahead and dive into a book on your own. So, but yeah, 8 or 9 years old. Hello, hello. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone. Just scrolling through your guys' questions. Let's see. Hello. Hello, Barty. Hello, Paramondo, I think. Sagarduda, The Compound Effect. I haven't read that one, but I have it. I have it somewhere here. I know I have it. It's on my definitely to be read. Oh, right here. To be read list. Oh, whatever. By Darren Hardy. Yes, I have The Compound Effect. It's actually a short little read. I haven't read it yet. Honestly, just been busy with school and work and whatnot. So I don't read too many books at a time anymore. I know I used to read like 5 or 6 books at a time. But again, now recently anyways, with school, working, and other things, I'm only reading about 2 books at a time at this point. But definitely want to go ahead and check out The Compound Effect. Just haven't read it yet, but excited to read it at some point. And that's one thing. I know a lot of people are like, oh, why haven't you read this book yet? Like, it's like, I mean, there's no necessarily big rush with reading or not reading a book. It's like, because I know when I first started out, maybe I ordered like, you know how it is. If you purchase books and you build out your library, sometimes you'll order like 10 books and then you don't read like any of them because you're still working on your other book. It's like, I don't feel guilty for that. It's like they should, in a sense, revitalize you, fill you up with like hope and optimism of like, yeah, I'm going to read this someday. It's like, and that's okay. You'll get to it when you get to it. As long as you're showing up, putting in the work of like an hour every day sort of thing. But yeah, thank you, Sagaraduda, for the recommendation, The Compound Effect. Definitely going to be reading it at some point. Just not sure when, to be honest, and definitely going to go ahead and be reading that. Let's see. Flores Komodo Island, Indonesia. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Currently, I am in Las Vegas, Nevada, in United States. There's one book, Wings of Fire. All right. Thank you, Tranquil A.T., I think. A.T. Wings of Fire by A.P.J. Abdul Kalam. All right. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. Thank you for the recommendation. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Let's see. All right. So, you guys ask, which is the best book? I think it really, again, it depends. And I know that might be like my favorite response to a lot of questions. But it depends on each individual, what it is you want to particularly learn in that moment. So I think it really depends just where you are at in life. because everyone's at a perhaps different stage in their life and whatnot. Like, you know, maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, maybe you're in your 15. You know, it's like, what are you trying to learn or accomplish in the next year, sort of thing. So, what's the best book for me might not be what's the best book for you in your moment, right? Like, even then, like maybe I'm facing a challenge that you're not facing, but you're facing your own challenges, right? Like this last couple of weeks, I've actually spent a lot of time, and I'm gonna share something a little outside of books, but I spent a lot of time on programming and AWS, a lot of cloud computing, things like that. Just because I have a few weeks away from school, so I wanted to take that extra time to work on some certs, work more on my career path, my skill sets, if you will. Because I really enjoy programming. If you guys don't know, I'm studying to be a computer science major, or I'm studying to get a computer science degree. I don't know. I'm a computer science major, so I figure I go ahead and try and tackle something I've never done, which is a lot of like cloud computing and AWS certifications and whatnot. So I've just been using my composition book and watching a lot of videos and studying up on AWS. So it's like, normally I wouldn't recommend that for anyone, but right now I think that's the best book for me, quote unquote. Well, they have white papers, which is like documentation of AWS. So for me right now, I think that's been like a really great book, as well as Life Unknown, because he talks a lot about struggles and a lot about, like, it's not such a technical book, and I think it's been the right book for me at this moment. So it's like, now I'll recommend some, I guess, my favorite books, so that way it's not like a cop out or anything like that. Let me see. Well, definitely Rich Dad Poor Dad, a great book to go ahead and check out. I think it's one of the first adultish books that I read. Still one of my favorites. Let's see. Trying to scroll through. Oh, Built to Serve. Another great book. Really enjoyed this one. I think for anyone sort of transitioning into adulthood, definitely go ahead and check this one out. It's really good. And honestly, I think you can gain a lot of value if like you're just trying to figure out sort of adulting and whatnot from like the first half of the book. Because the rest of the half of the book is more of like how to convert whatever you're interested in into some sort of a business. It's Built to Serve by Evan Carmichael. Right there. Built to Serve by Evan Carmichael. Really good book. If you want to sort of figure out who you are, like if you want to perhaps have some guidance and coaching from Evan Carmichael and you're trying to sort of figure out who it is you are in a sense. And I mean, he does that through asking a bunch of questions. Let me see if I can find them. He asks, it's like 5 different questions. Oh yeah. So, the 5 essential questions, and I'm going to put this on YouTube, on the BookDevs YouTube page. So if you guys want to pause, rewind, you can go ahead and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and upload it probably sometime later today. But the 5 essential questions that I think bring you the most value from this book is: who is your favorite teacher growing up and why? What is your favorite movie of all time? What do you love most about how your parents raised you? What successful person do you look up to and why? And then what lessons do you want your kids to have, current, future, or borrowed? So I think if you can answer those questions, it helps you sort of figure out what it is, like your purpose in life. Because then you start to find like the key traits. And then, I mean, he walks you through how to like set it up, but those are the big questions to sort of ask yourself. Yeah, I mean, another one I personally really enjoyed, I don't think that's enough recommendation, is The Effective Executive. Thought it was really good. It's a really good like leadership book, if you will, and like executive leadership book. But I thought it was really good. A nice, short, quick little read. Again, I really think it depends for me in the moment. Like a lot of the books I've read, I've just really enjoyed. I think if I find a book I'm not enjoying that much, I'll just stop reading it. Like I know Bill Gates has his rule of don't read a book unless you're gonna read the whole thing, and that's his own rule. And now I think it's important to like check out like, well, maybe why he does that rule. Well, because he wants to emphasize the importance of which book he's selecting. So I would say those are some of my favorite books. I really enjoy. Yeah, see, the more I look at my bookshelf, the more I'm like, oh yeah, I also really love this book. I'm a big fan of Malcolm Gladwell, so I really enjoy a lot of, like, I think all of his books that I've read by him, I've really enjoyed. So I really enjoyed Outliers, Blink, Tipping Point, all great books in my opinion. So I think it really just depends what it is you want to go ahead and achieve or maybe learn in the moment of your current self. Alrighty. Let's see. Uh, Alrighty. Hello, transparent soul. Welcome. Which book introduced you to the world of reading? Yeah, I think that would be the Harry Potter series, to be honest. When first starting out in this thing of life, I would say the Harry Potter series. Um, then from there, I got into like the Magic Tree House books. I guess that shows you my age of when I started reading. I was like first, second grade, maybe third grade. But then I stopped for a while just because I think school tends to do that with a lot of people if you're not necessarily that into school. They have the required reading, so throughout middle school and high school, it was a lot of, hey, you have to read this. I don't care if you don't like it. You just got to read it, and then we have to talk about it. It's like, oh, that sucks. So I think for a while, I actually stopped reading for quite a few years. And then I picked up, I think it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Well, funny enough, I had learned about it throughout that time that I was first reading, like second, third grade. And then I picked it up again later on. So I picked that one up. I'm trying to think. I have it on my personal Instagram, I think. Which book was it that? It might have either been Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or perhaps terrible with names and what is that, like rote memory? So please forgive me, but I think it was The Culture Code. It may have been this one. I have to double check, to be honest. I'm actually not fully sure. I can't recall, but a really great book. I don't think this one gets recommended enough. I think it's a really good book. Daniel Coyle, The Culture Code. I think it's really good. Really great insights. I might actually have to reread this again because it's been a bit over a year now since I last read this one. It's really good, and I love the cover. It's really nice. Let's see. Nice, simple cover, but really good book. I know this one, after I read this one, and see that, I guess that shows you my excitement for it, but after I read that one, it might have been the second or third book, but I felt even more excited to read more and more books. So, but I could be wrong. It might be another book. I'm honestly not too sure. But I would say that got me started into reading was definitely Harry Potter books. And then I did not like books for a while, and then I came back. Thank you for your question, Transparent Soul. Let's see. Let's see. Alrighty. Going through, could you recommend any book on psychology? Not anything more technical, but I guess for normal readers? Yes. I don't know if this is considered like for normal readers. I don't know. I mean, I kind of get what you mean, right? Like not such a technical, psychology book, so I guess. But I know it might be a bit of a challenge. I know I found it a bit challenging. But if you're up for the challenge, I personally really liked Jordan B. Peterson's Beyond Order. Like I felt like it was like sort of analytical, but it had some psychology mixed in there as he is, a psychologist. So he does, I think, like psychoanalysis, I believe is like the term that we'd call him. But he's like a therapist pretty much. And so I thought this was a really great book on a mixture of psychology, sort of analyzing human behavior, different little concepts like that. And he talks, it is a little tough though, because you have to know quite a bit about like religion, a little bit about politics. So there were some chapters I had to skip because like they were completely out of my scope of knowledge. Like I'm not too well versed in politics and political books, which by the way, if any of you guys do recommend a politics book maybe that you found was like a good starting point for you, feel free to recommend. I'm actually currently trying to develop that part of my understanding. Because I'm not too good on politics. I don't really watch the news or anything like that. So, like, there was a whole chapter. I think it's like something about ideology. He talks about something with ideology. Trying to look for it. Abandon ideology. But he starts using all these terms, and I'm like, what? My brain can't comprehend what you're saying right now. I had to look up like every other word. So I just skipped that chapter because I was like, I don't understand what you're saying. But if you guys have a recommendation, would love to hear your guys' recommendations. But I think this is a great book to go ahead and sort of that's not as technical more for normal readers in the sense of reading about psychology and human behavior, but he does use some more intense vocabulary, if you will. But he paints a lot of pictures and sort of resays the same thing in the chapter. So he gives you like you might read a couple pages and you might be confused, but then he explains it again in a different way. So that's why sometimes I felt also he could have made the book a little shorter, but it's good because of the way he communicates. It's very tough sometimes, some of the vocabulary he uses. So he'll explain it like two other ways, you know. So I think this is overall a really good book. Notorious Salem, love from India. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Love as well. I hope you are well. Oh, where did I grab this book from? We'll just put it right there. But I hope you guys are well. Truly appreciate you guys' time, taking the time and just tuning in, asking you guys questions. Let's see. All right. I really hope these aren't first Q&A, so I hope these aren't questions that I've already selected and I just didn't realize. But what book do you recommend? Well, yeah. I mean, what do you want to learn? Get and be. I mean, if you want to come on and request to join the live, but let me know what you want to learn. You know, we can talk, for 60 seconds and better narrow down what it is you want to get out of a particular book. Because, what book do you recommend? I'd recommend most of the books I've read, to be honest. I mean, let's see. The 10X Rule, Crushing It, Outliers, Black Sheep, Emotional Intelligence 2.0, The Culture Code, Think and Grow Rich is a classic. Why We Sleep was a good one. I like Jim Quick's Limitless, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Quantum Marketing was really good. Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Go-Giver is another good story one. I enjoyed Super Reading Secrets, a good technical book though. Built to Serve, The Effective Executive, Invested. I mean, there's so many more books. So it's what do you want to, I guess, learn a lot about, right? So feel free to let me know. And we can better narrow down what it is, what value you can try to get out of a particular book. Because I think you'll get more value out of a book if you can sort of narrow down what it is you want to learn or even why you want to learn that. Alrighty. Let's see. Kindle versus physical book. I would say physical. I like just feeling it in my hands and just flipping through the pages and just kind of being with the book. I do have a Kindle somewhere. I think it's somewhere on my desk. But I have found myself not being able to focus as much. Now maybe I just need to keep trying a little more, just because it is a different thing than what I'm used to. So always be willing. You always get when you're trying something new, you always have to try it a couple of times. Even if you just do it once, it's well, of course it's gonna feel weird. It's something new, So try it a couple of times. Make sure chew it out and test it. Make sure it's something you really like or don't like, or So I think I'd still have to test out the Kindle a bit more, to be honest. But so far, I've enjoyed physical books more, just because it's nice to sort of escape with the book, highlight the book, and write in the book, things like that. Plus, I like walking around and people know I'm reading a book. It's I don't know, sometimes you never know. If you're walking around with the 5 a.m. Club, months ago I read that book. Let me see, do I have it here? Yes, the 5 a.m. Club. And so I was oh my gosh, you're reading the 5 a.m. Club. I love Robin Sharma. I love his writing and this and that. It's you can sort of just start talking with people who also have a book interest just like you. So I kind of like that it sort of sparks conversation when you carry around your physical books. So Kindle versus physical book for sure. But I'm open to trying more of the Kindle just to make sure if I like it or don't like it. Let's see. Hello, Vanshika 575. Could you recommend a book on personal finance other than Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Yes. I don't. Man, there was one. I think is it Ramit Sethi? I personally didn't enjoy it, but because I got bored because it was a lot of concepts already new. But I think if you're just now learning about personal finance and trying to tackle that arena, definitely check out that book. It's something like I'll teach you to be rich, or I will teach you to be rich. It's a really great beginner's book on just breaking down the basic technicalities of like a 401k, basic investing, different retirement accounts outside of the 401k, different things like that. Um, what else? I guess as a disclaimer, I'm not like a financial advisor or anything like that. I don't know. Sometimes you have to put that out there, but that is a book I personally really enjoyed. You could also check out Dave Ramsey, uh, The Total Money Makeover. It's a really good one. Though I kind of disagree with some of his viewpoints, overall I think it's really good. Like for example, credit cards. Let me think. What else? It's another good. Oh, a good one if you want to get into perhaps like a little bit of where is it? I can't find out right here. Invested. I thought was a good book if you want to just learn more about investing and sort of the beginner's perspective about investing and whatnot. I've heard The Psychology of Money is really good. I haven't read that one myself personally, but I've heard The Psychology of Money is really good. So I know it's on my list to read. I know, but I just haven't read that one yet. But I've heard a lot of other bookstagrammers and readers recommend that one as well. So I'm going to recommend that just off the basis of like almost everyone I've talked to about financial books somehow in some way mentioned that book. Like, oh, you got to read it, Ryan. It's so good. So I would recommend that one, although I haven't read it. So if you have read it, maybe let me know how it is. But only reason I'm recommending it, because I don't like recommending books I haven't read, is because I think literally every person I've talked to that reads books is like, oh, that's such a good book. So, but I personally, I would definitely say I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I think it's by Ramit, or maybe it's another name. But I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Yeah, is definitely a good one to start off in your personal financial journey. I think it's good. Alrighty. Hello, Nick Thrift. Could you recommend books that help with social media and communication skills? That's a good one. Well, communication skills, definitely check out Talk Like TED. I thought it's really good. If you guys want some more concepts from it, I did like a Reels thing. Because that was like right after I finished reading it. So, but let me see if I can find a couple uh, concepts from it, like deliver jaw-dropping moments, uh, teaching people something new, mastering the art of storytelling. They use different visual aids and whatnot, and a lot of good quotes. Let's see. Unleash the master within. A quote from the book, nothing great has ever been achieved without enthusiasm. So you got to get excited for whatever you are presenting or communicating to other people. Let me think. With social and communication skills. Oh, I'm trying to think. Vanessa Van Edwards. I'm forgetting the name. Is it Hooked? No. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. But Vanessa Van Edwards. I haven't read that one, but I've heard that one's also really good. I did speak with her, and like she uses a lot of like science and whatnot. So I know like just from having met her and spoken with her and learning from her, she has a lot to say on that topic as well. So check her out. And if you do read it, let me know. Let me know how that goes. I do plan on reading at some point and adding to the bookshelf. Just having gone around to it again. Just Talk Like TED is, I think, the biggest one I've read for communication. I guess you could also check out Emotional Intelligence, just because I think EQ is also known as emotional intelligence. A lot of people haven't put time into like thinking about emotional intelligence, but it's still a good concept to go ahead and learn about, especially about yourself. And I like with emotional intelligence, it's not a book that you necessarily like read. Like, I don't know if you can like. It's more about having small little strategies. Oh, there you are. So it's all about having strategies, like every other page, small little strategies that you can actually go ahead and implement in your day-to-day life. So I actually really like this book. Like, for example, with one, try and repeat people's names back to them after you've met them, and say people's names. It makes a more personal connection. So it's like uh, Nick Thrift. I try to start by saying your name, acknowledge, hey, thank you for being here. And then ideally, I would remember to also say your name once one is saying goodbye, like for person to person, perhaps you would say the name again. Hey, it was nice to meet you, Nick Thrift. So something I'm also trying to work on. I definitely feel there with the social and communication skills. I personally, I don't think I'm necessarily, or I wasn't that great starting off, but I'm getting better as we do more IG lives and I try to talk to you guys. It's like, and I've realized too, so many people are actually not the best at communicating just because of like the emotional aspect of like, oh my gosh. But it's like, the more you do it, the better, and the more practice you get, the easier it gets. So I definitely think for you, Nick Thrift, to improve your social and communication skills, just try and practice after you've read a couple concepts. Like, put that into practice. It might seem scary at first, but like that's really how you're gonna get the most impact in your life. Just through trying to implement, and you're gonna fail. It's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna fail at something, and that's okay. It's good. At least you went after it, you tried, and you failed. It's okay. Over time, it gets a little easier, and you get better. Like, for example, I found myself doing a lot better with not interviews, but like presentations at work, and then I thought, wow, that presentation went really well, or even in school. Why? Well, because I've had to feel the pressure of recording a YouTube video, of doing IG lives, of putting myself out there. So now it's like when I go do presentation at school or at work, it's like, it's not that big a deal, right? So just put in the practice, be patient with yourself. As long as you're making some sort of progress, I would definitely recommend that as well. But Talk Like Ted and then Vanessa Van Edwards' book, I think, is a really solid one just by having met her and learned some of her concepts. Welcome everyone. If you're just tuning in, please feel free to ask me your questions or something you've learned throughout this last week or something you're excited to learn coming up during this week as well. Please feel free to share. Always love to hear what you guys are currently learning. Let's see. Oh, this is a fun one. Suggest any comic books. So yes, I'm actually a big fan of comic books, although I've stopped for the last couple of while, especially since I entered uni, just because it can get kind of expensive. My favorite ones, since I last read, which is a couple years ago, would be definitely Spider-Man and Deadpool. I really enjoyed the mix of those two, just because I also really loved Amazing Spider-Man and Deadpool. I also like the X-Men, so there you go. I'm trying to think. I was a big fan of G.I. Joe, but not the comic books. I just never got into them. So, but maybe that's something you want to check out as well. But I would say definitely Amazing Spider-Man is a classic. You can't go wrong. Spider-Man and Deadpool, honestly, I think was my favorite series before I was like, all right, I gotta stop. But check those out. Hopefully you enjoy them. Let me know. Feel free to DM or message me either on BookDevs or my personal one. Like, just let me know what series you've enjoyed so far, if you like them, But yes, thank you, Notorious Salam, for your question. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Let's check out some questions. Please feel free to put your questions in the little, what is it? Question mark with a comment, with the little comment bubble. I'll try to scroll through some of you guys' questions in conversation. Let's see. Let's see. Any ideas on how to face tough decisions? That's a good one. How to face tough decisions. Well, I mean, I think facing tough decisions in a sense can be simple. It's just hard to do. So it's like, I like to think of it a little more of, okay, well, what are all the options you can try and think about? And Kelsey HXOXO, thank you for your question. Any ideas on how to face tough decisions? Lay out the options you have. Try and think of a bunch of different options, even if you think they're crazy or almost impossible. Like, just lay them out. Like, what if you, like, what if, like, just think it out, think it through, right? Lay out all options, right? Then from there, you can sort of get a better grasp from, okay, what can I do? You know, maybe take a look at the end result. Maybe I'm a big fan of taking a look, okay, what if you did go with this option and you, like, imagine a year from now, if you went with this option, what it would look like. So instead of just being like, oh, I'm going to go through this path and do this and this and this, say you've already gone through that path. Like, what will you look back and be like, it got me this and this and this, but it also took away this, or it also did this bad thing. So take a look at it from, like, sort of an end goal perspective. Like, it's kind of like, what if I was a bad person? All right, like what if I do this one act and I do it every single day for a year? Right? If you look at the end, it's like, well, yeah, you end up becoming like a bad person. So it's like, is that what you want in life? Usually the answer is no. So you realize, okay, I got to go ahead and change that. So, but when facing tough decisions, lay out the different options you have, and then find something that you, I think, would enjoy the most. And don't dwell or regret. It's like, you never know the alternative either. I mean, it's so true. Like, you might go with one decision and then you're like, oh, I should have done the other decision. But you don't know if the other decision is the decision that, I don't know, you tried to go and implement and you got run over by a car. It's like, you don't know. So it's like, just go after it, try it, and then, you, like, everything's a journey. Just go from there. I hope that answered your question, Kelsey HXOXO. Let's see. Hello, welcome everyone. Oh, cool. Der Kocher Jung, I think. Sorry for butchering the name, but the book named Warren Buffett Deals is the book that teaches you about finance. Cool. I haven't actually heard that one, so I'll go ahead and let me write that one down. What is it? Warren Buffett Deals. Yeah, let me go ahead. Grab a piece of paper. What is it? Warren Buffett Deals. Thank you for the recommendation. I'll go ahead and check that one out. If you guys have read that one, if you guys have read that one, let me know. Warren Buffett Deals. I haven't even heard of that one, to be honest, but I'll definitely go ahead and check it out. Thank you. Let's see. All right. Ooh, okay. It's a tough one. Welcome Farhanabas 999. I recently read the book The Alchemist, but hardly understood it. Please share your opinion on the book. That's a tough one because I haven't read The Alchemist in quite a few years now. Let me see. I know I have it, and I've read it. It's just been a while. Where is the book? Oh man, now I can't find it. But dang it, I have it here. I even have the Spanish version. I find the Spanish version, but not the actual Alchemist book. Well, whatever. The Alchemist. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean. But like, you read it, but it's like hard to understand. Because I also found it very challenging to read when I first read it too. But I mean, well, one, try and read it just like a story, like as a fictional story, if you will, of just a guy going through his journey. You got me stumped on that one. Share your opinion. I mean, I remember, because I've read this, it's probably been, I think it's probably the last book I've read before high school that I enjoyed. Because I think it was like first year of high school sort of thing. But, let me see. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know that the journey was kind of confusing and whatnot. So I think, honestly, personally, I just read the story just to enjoy the story instead of trying to like understand everything. I just like, hey, look, it's a cool, interesting story about a guy who goes on a journey. I forget what he's like looking. I think it's like how to make gold, or he's looking for like I know he's looking for the chest. I think it was like the chest that holds like his future, his destiny, or something like that. But I really just enjoyed like the book overall of like just the journey through. So maybe instead of trying to understand every little thing, embrace that it was a fun book a fun story. What I learned from it, I mean, it might sound weird, but like, don't be afraid to go on an adventure. Like this guy literally did that just because he had a dream. Like he dreamt about it, and like so he just went on that journey. So it's like, be open minded to just going out and having fun, uh, having an adventure, and just experiencing what life, if you will. Because not everything's necessarily set in stone. You just kind of go through it and experience it. Um, I hope that helps. I know that wasn't necessarily like best answer ever, but it's been quite a few years. Maybe I'll have to reread it, and then I'll let you know. Um, but yeah, I think I might actually take some time to reread The Alchemist, just because it's been quite a few years now. To be honest, thank you guys so much for your questions. Truly appreciate you guys taking the time to just log in, tune in, and answer guys' questions. My goal is to do this every Sunday from now on. Just take time, answer you guys' questions. Um, Learn from you guys. If you guys have anything you've recently learned and want to share, please feel free. Um, Let me go ahead. Uh, I didn't realize it's like a video. I forgot the plus video thing. So I'm going to go ahead and try and answer people's questions. Got a few minutes left. Hello, Harmon. Can you hear me? Hello? All right. Do it regularly, Venkatesh. Yes, Venkatesh. Definitely plan on. I'm planning on trying to be more consistent. I don't know if seven or so. Currently in Pacific Standard Time, so seven. It's currently now it's 10:56, but I started at 7 a.m. So I'm thinking of doing an hour every day. I kind of wanted to do 8, but I have a book club at 8, so I was like, all right, well 7 a.m. it is, and I think that's a good time uh, to sort of answer people's questions and whatnot. I know I'm going to do it every Sunday, so stay tuned for that. And I'll make sure to put a countdown every time of when we're going to go live, answer questions. And I'm going to try and include a lot more videos. I know I didn't do a lot of, the, hey, join me on IG Live and we can chat via video. But I will be incorporating that more and more. Just wanted to sort of kind of answer some questions and kind of, put my toes in the water. How does the saying go? But we'll definitely be doing this consistently. So I'll try to scroll through and answer some quick ones. How many hours you read daily? I try to just make sure I read at least an hour a day. Uh, if I can, my minimum is an hour. If I can read just an hour a day, I'm good. But then I try to read 2 to 3 if I have the time. But some days it's like I have school, I have work, so it's like. But definitely schedule at least an hour every day, and I think you can find consistent growth in your reading progress. Do you have some suggestions on stock crypto books? I'm not a financial advisor. Just got to put that out there as a disclaimer. And I guess in the U.S. is what I've seen. But do you have some suggestions on stock or crypto books? I know Andreas M. Antonopoulos. Check out his YouTube channel. Check out his books. He does videos, YouTube lives, all that stuff. He is like the guy to learn about like Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think he does those two. And he literally wrote the books for this one. He wrote the books on, it's called Mastering, I think Bitcoin or Mastering Ethereum. Either one of those two or both. I know he did an Ethereum book and a Bitcoin book. So check those two out. He also has a bunch of volumes, which are just like little pieces of his different live conversations with people. I'm trying to think. Yeah, a collection of talks. There we go, like public talks. So go ahead and check that one out. I would definitely recommend Andreas M. Antonopoulos for like sort of crypto jazz stuff, because he just talks about like not just the money aspect, but like the societal aspect of crypto. But let's see. Thank you for your question, Harry Sims Music. Appreciate the question. Uh, no, Harmon, I've not read The Last Queen. If you want to go ahead and DM me, let me know what it's about. I'll check it out. I guess I'll just. Oh crap! I'll go ahead and write it down. The Last Queen. I'll go ahead and check that one out. It's added to the list. I'll go ahead and check that out later. Let's see. Do you have a book name? What should I do? What should I do with my life? Yeah, no, that's a tough one. Keep exploring, honestly. Just keep figuring out what it is you like and what you don't like. So everything you try, if you know you don't like it, well, that's one thing to not try, you know? Where am I from? Nitish, currently living in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States. Yeah, but I'm originally from New York. That's why I wear the ring. New York City. My plan is to eventually move back there and stay living there. But I appreciate you guys' time, taking the time, ask questions, share with me what you guys have learned or what you guys are currently reading. Truly, truly appreciate you guys just taking the time out of your day to come here and just hang out and connect. Don't worry if I didn't answer your questions. I will be doing this every Sunday. I guess for now, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So whatever time that is for you, right? Whatever time it is for you right now, let's go an hour back. That's when we started. So I'll go ahead and be doing that. And just want to let you guys know also, if you guys have any other questions, just keep doing that. Tune in every Sunday, and we have the podcast coming out. It is definitely different than I think other bookstagrammers because I don't want it to just be books. I know with a lot of people, it's like, oh, you do books, well that's cool, but I'm not into books. So with my I've started with Dev Nation Media, the Mind Devs podcast, and it's more to talk about ideas, people's stories, and more connect with people, so that even people who aren't into books can go ahead and learn from authors or learn from different creators and entrepreneurs, whether you like books or not. So yes, a lot of the guests that I've had on are authors, but I try to make it more of just, hey, you have ideas, you have concepts that you like talking about with people. Let's just hear them out. Let's just share them. That way, you guys can go ahead and better learn from them and gain more value from me, from other people, and perhaps find new mentors to go ahead and follow on Instagram and to go ahead and perhaps listen to. Because I don't think like learning should just be exclusive to books or just videos. Like I think there could be a way where we do videos, we do books, we do audio, like a bunch of different ways, because there's a bunch of different people who learn differently. So just want to go ahead and throw that out there. If any of you guys are into learning, but maybe have found books a little challenging, yeah, feel free to check out Mind Us Podcast. Or if you're just looking for a new podcast, Mind Us Podcast. We just uploaded Howard Berg, Super Secrets of Learning. Next week we have, I'm terrible with names, but Shelley Brown. We talk about being weird as a human. And then I also want to share with you guys, tomorrow I'll be doing an interview with Carter K. Alada from Life Unknown and talking about his struggles and sort of judgments and being vulnerable with family and whatnot. So that is, I'm actually really excited. I mean, I'm always excited for every interview we do, but excited to go ahead and talk with him as well tomorrow, and we'll be sharing that out on the podcast as well. So just wanted to share that with you guys, and have quite a few guests as well. Going to be have lined up with Raja Manar. He's a marketer. He's a CMO, so Chief Marketing Officer. He wrote Quantum Marketing, so I wanted to pick his brain on sort of marketing and education, things like that. But anyways, just wanted to share that with you guys as well. Appreciate you guys' time. Excited to go ahead and just continue. I'm going to try and end this with what I'm excited to learn this coming week. Excited to go ahead and learn more about, well, definitely Kartikeya and his story and his journey so far. Excited to go ahead and, like I had mentioned earlier, build up my knowledge in AWS and some certs, as well as just reading. I think this week I'm going to start reading Jonas Altman's Shapers. Like I was just flipping through it and trying to read a couple concepts, not like a front to back, but more of just, hey, I'm going to check out a chapter. It's really good. So I was like, I got to check it out. And plus going to be doing a book review soon for that book. So all right, let's read it. Let's dive into it. But yeah, just want to take a minute. Thank you guys for tuning in. Truly appreciate you guys' time. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next IG Live, Sundays, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or an hour back from now. So excited to see you guys on the next one, and thank you for tuning in.